Hello everyone, Michael here for Tactica Imperialis. Welcome to today's video. Today it's going to be an Age of Sigmar battle report, pitting the High Elves, which is basically just the Island of Blood, against Khorne, because it's always Khorne.
It is.
It is always Khorne. Well, we don't really have anything else to use, do we? So it's 1,000 points. We're playing one of the General's Handbook missions called Border War. We'll explain that in a minute. I'm just going to run us through the armies very quickly. So my army is drawn entirely from the Swifthawk Agents faction. I know there's Swordmasters and a Mage. I'll explain why in a minute. So I have 5 Reavers. They're not Illyrian Reavers anymore. They're just Reavers. 20 Spire Guard. They're Sea Guard. They will always be Sea Guard. But they're Spire Guard now with their bows and their spears and their shields and all that good stuff. You have a High Warden, which is a Lord on Griffin with a lance. And he's been buffed up through some traits and things. So he's got +1 attack and -1 rend on his lance. So he's going to hit like a brick and hopefully not die to Wrathmongers. We have 10 Swordmasters with full command and a Archmage with a healing potion. So he heals 1 wound every hero phase. And I'm using a battalion which is like the Defenders of the Dawnspire or Guardians of the Dawnspire or something. It's a 40-point battalion that allows me to, 1, have these guys and him go from Eldritch Council to Swifthawk. So their keywords, I think they gain the Swifthawk keyword because they have another keyword relating to being Eldritch Council for their bravery. And the other thing is that I can pick a unit to move or shoot in the hero phase as long as they're within 16 inches of the High Warden. The High Warden's actual command ability is there's an aura of re-rolling charges, which I think is also 16 inches. It could be 10. I will double check that when the time arises. And that's my army. Nice and easy, very simple. And on the other side, we have 1,000 points of Khorne.
So I've got one formation, which is the Skull Take. It's the Blood Stoker, 2 units of Skull Reapers, and a unit of Khorgraths. The Khorgraths get 8 attacks rather than 5 when they're within 6 inches of the Skull Reapers, and the Skull Reapers, 2 wound rolls of 6, get +1 damage when they're within 12 inches of the Blood Stoker.
Okay.
I've got a unit of Wrathmongers, a Exalted Deathbringer with the Great Axe, and then 2 units of Blood Warriors. Blood Reavers even.
Yep, the Blood Reavers are down there. So the mission we are playing is Border War. This basically means that basically there are 4 objectives on the board. 1 there, 1 over there, 1 here, and 1 there. And our job is to claim them. The one in your home deployment zone is worth 1 point, and you score at the end of your turn, so it stacks up pretty quick. At the end of your turn, you score based on the number of objectives you hold. If you hold your home objective, you score 1 point. For each of these objectives that you hold, you score 2 points. So 1, 2, 2, and the one in your enemy's deployment zone, or on the edge of your enemy's deployment zone, is worth 4. So there's a theoretical, per turn, 9 points on offer, if you could hold the entire board. But at that point, you've basically won.
Yeah, and 5 turns.
Yeah, 5 battle rounds, and then the game is forced to end. It's not random game length, which is, for once, I'm kind of alright with that, because the longer I get to stay away from him, the better.
Yeah.
So this is going to be quite an interesting game. We are not sure because we're both trying. I'm trying a new army out because I've never used Swifthawk Agents before, and I've never seen you use this formation before. So it's going to be fun. Place your bets in the comments below who you think is going to win, and we'll see how it goes. I set up first because my deployed formations all in one go, or battalions. Sorry, battalions, not formations. Because you deploy them all in one go, I deployed first, and that means I'm going to be taking first turn. So I will come back at the end of Swifthawk Agents, turn 1. End of Order Swifthawk Agents, High Elves, turn 1. That was a bloody disappointment. Okay, so I casted Mystic Shield onto my Reavers, which is why this is there, and I gave my Spire Guard Inspiring Presence. I'll learn the names eventually, trust me. I used my Battalion ability to get my Swordmasters moving, and then they're up there, and I put my Griffin up there onto that objective. My Reavers then bounced up to here, and shot at the Skull Reapers and got 4 out of 15 hits despite hitting on 4s, and then scored no wounds whatsoever. So I used their Elven Purebred's ability to run them back 2d6. They basically have a jump, shoot, jump move. So they move 16, shoot, and then run 2d6. They're back here now. The Mage is there, the Spire Guard's there, and that's it. Now the way the objectives work, you don't actually have to be sat on them to claim them. You just have to have been the last person to be sat on them with more models. So the fact that I've abandoned this objective doesn't actually matter, so I still score 5 points, 2, 1, 2. It's a little bit of a weird system, but it works well enough, and once Kieran gets his units up to it, my Reavers being there won't matter, because if you outnumber the number of models, you've got more models within 3 or 6? Within 6. You've got more models within 6, then you claim it no matter what. So once this objective is actually occupied, clearing it out again is going to be a nightmare. So that's that. We'll come back at the end of Bloodbound, turn 1.
Okay.
End of Khorne, turn 1. Masses of movement in this direction. Standard stuff. The ran, I think everything over here ran.
Yeah.
Skull Reapers.
Yeah, that's the one.
Didn't run. Sorry.
Oh.
Thanks, Clark.
Okay.
The Skull Reapers didn't run because they were whipped by the Bloodstoker in an attempt to get a charge in on the Prince. High Warden, names, goddamn names, and they whiffed it. Now, we didn't mention this earlier. The Bloodstoker has, one of the two has an ability to give out Inspiring Presence twice as general.
The Crown of Command.
So the Crown of Command. So both the Blood Reavers are immune to Battle Shock right now. And then I forgot about the most important thing that happens in Age of Sigmar that is completely game-changing. Double turn.
Which I have unfortunately won.
Which he has won. So this is going to hurt a lot. We're back at the end of Khorne turn 2. End of Khorne turn 2. I don't need to say anything, do I? Actually, no, I do. I do need to say something. Because you might be thinking, oh, you just got brought down by weight of attacks because, you know, there's like 10 guys there and 5 guys there. And no. The Skull Reapers bloody one-shot. One-shotted him. They did 5 wounds with 1 set of weapons and then just carved him to pieces with the multi-damage stuff. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, you might be wondering why there's so many alive guys when I had a full stack Griffin in that. No, he just got one-shotted. My Swordmasters were close enough to pile in, and, well, between the 4 of them that were in range, managed to deal 2 wounds, so that's something. But then again, these guys have got 3 wounds a throw and a 4+ save. I suppose being part demon has its perks. Down here, because double turn again, the Reavers charged the Reavers, the Blood Reavers charged the actual Reavers, and did no damage, but also suffered only 1 loss. And because they're immune to Battle Shock, because the Bloodstoker's ability, which they won't actually get next round, because they can't see him, that's a thing, but unfortunately my cavalry are now locked in combat, and while they can still shoot, they get more shots the further away they are. So they're more than 3 inches away, they get 3 shots, normally they get 2. The main problem is, like, well, the score's now 10-5 because, you know, keep stacking up those points, but I've lost my general, so my battalion ability is gone, and my command abilities are gone, which is rather irritating because I quite like a free round of shooting right now with my Spire Guard or something. Nope, couldn't have survived on 1 wound. Never mind. Anyway, come back at the end of Swifthawk Agents, turn 2. End of Swifthawk, turn 2. No, not really. Tried to do... I didn't really know how I was going to dig myself out of this one, so I'm just plugging away in that combat. Killed 2 or 3 for no damage, which is fine. Still immune to Battle Shock until the next turn, and they won't be after that. That's all right. Unleashed a lot of shooting into the Blood... No, Skull Reapers. Killed... 2? No, not with shooting.
Oh, yeah.
With shooting, took 2 wounds, and the Swordmasters did 8, so I killed basically a total of 3 guys. And put another guy down to 1 because there's a guy already carrying a wound. The 2 that died then both killed a Swordmaster with mortal wounds, because that's the way it works. And then they chopped through another 2, but I passed my Battle Shock, and they passed their Battle Shock as well. And so I scored 1 point for this turn, making the total 10-6. And Kieran has won the roll-off again, so he's going to be taking this turn. And yeah, this mission has a bit of a problem that if you're outnumbered, you can't come back. Yeah. Like, there's no way I can seize this flank. And like, I haven't got the I've probably got the manpower to seize that flank, but yeah, this is not good. Anyway, we'll come back to the end of Bloodbound, turn 3. End of Khorne, turn 3. I completely forgot the retreat mechanic existed. So the Blood Reavers just went over here, and the Khorgorath just crashed in with 9 attacks each, because Wrathmongers and their own ability of being near the Skull Reapers from the formation, they completely flattened my Reavers. No surprises there. The Exalted Deathbringer, that's right, charged into the Spire Guard, killed 2, then killed another one with his own shield, because he has a shield that does that. Does D3 mortal wounds every time he makes a 6-up save. But I did do 3 wounds to him as well, so even trade, past the Battle Shock, that's fine. Down here, I did 2 wounds with the Swordmasters, so I killed the guy, and then lost almost my entire unit in return because a D3 damage weapon that rolls well is just absolute bloody murder. So I lost 4 Swordmasters again, but passed the Battle Shock, and the Blood Reavers are still set there because I only got 1 guy to attack them, and that didn't go very well. So the score now stands at 15 points to 6.
Going into your turn.
Going into my turn 3.
Yep.
Yeah. Right. Back at the end of Swifthawk Agents, turn 3. End of Swifthawk, turn 3, and nothing died. Well, maybe 1 Blood Reaver died, but yeah. So I lost 1 Swordmaster for 1 guy, so that's a terrible trade. And then I lost 4 guys to the Deathbringer's attack. I Arcane Bolted him down to 1 wound, and then with all my attacks managed to do more damage to myself than I did to him. No wounds caused, and 1 mortal suffered in return, and 1 guy ran away due to Battle Shock. Down here, nothing's changed. They're just waiting for their chance to go again. And I've won the roll-off, so we'll have a quick Swifthawk turn 4, and then we will see where we're at, because I mean the score now is, what, 15-7? The game's over, but, well, yeah, may as well go down swinging. Okay, end of the 4th battle round. We skipped ahead through the Elven turn because nothing happened. So the hero is dead, and the Skull Reaper is dead somehow, but the Swordmasters are dead, and the Mage is now mobbed by Blood Reavers, and the Khorgoraths killed 5, and they caused another 4 to run to Battle Shock. So Kieran now controls every single objective, is scoring 9 points a round. I'm about to get tabled. We haven't actually rolled for turn yet, but I'm about to get tabled. So I am pretty sure we're done here. I mean, I've got 3 models left, and yeah. This maybe is the other reason why Age of Sigmar isn't grabbing me right now. So yeah, this pretty much is the end of the game. I mean, we could play it out by all means. I mean, the Khorgoraths healed themselves after I did any damage to them, and the Mage's only got 1 attack. So yeah, we're pretty much done here. And yeah, we were just talking actually before we started recording again. Elves are in a bad spot right now because the problem, like Kieran's basic infantry, the Blood Reavers, their only real weakness is their Battle Shock because they're so cheap.
Yeah.
But that's easy to mitigate with a command ability like you had. Whereas my basic infantry was costing me 12 points a guy. Yeah. Yours was costing you half that. Yeah. And was no tougher and hit no harder.
I think it's because the problem with Elven infantry is because they're all like single wound guys with saves and alright attacks. Like you're paying a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas my guy's really cheap, really low bravery, but attack really well. So
yeah, like I was like the bow, like, everything in my army is 4s and 4s.
Yeah.
And 4s and 4s means that 1 in 4 attacks is going to do something. Which when you don't have an army that's huge, it just isn't anything. Yeah. And particularly when most of the stuff in Kieran's army, apart from the Blood Reavers, was minimum 3 wounds a guy with a 4 or 5 up save. You just, even my Swordmasters were struggling to shift them. And the fact that, well, we're not even going to talk about that. Losing your general to 1 charge.
That was quite unlucky, to be fair.
It wasn't unlucky. The dice were, okay, there was a slightly lucky dice, but it wasn't exactly like you just rolled a god roll.
Yeah.
I just died. And I was, before we were setting up things, Swifthawk looked like a lot of fun because they've got Shadow Warriors, the Tyrannok Chariots, the Sky Chariots, the whatever they're called these days, the Sea Helms, Reavers as battle line. They've got a lot of fun potential in them. But when they're that weak, I mean, Kieran's formation didn't even kick in.
No, well, the Khorgoraths got extra attacks.
The Khorgoraths having extra attacks allowed them to get through things a little faster, but at the end of the day, they were never in a fight they were going to lose. It wasn't like we needed those extra attacks or we were going to get killed. It was a cakewalk for the Khorgorath the entire way. And admittedly, I'd forgotten some of the rules, like the retreat mechanic, which might have mattered slightly, but not really.
There wouldn't have been much you could have done about it.
Yeah, I could have backed my Reavers off to shoot more, but my shooting's been their shooting was appalling, and it took me far too long to kill the hero. And
that was just unlucky trying to kill that hero.
Yeah, because I had 2 arcane bolts at him. The first one I rolled a 1, and the second one I didn't cast.
And then passing all my saves that turn as well.
Yeah,
that was just unlucky.
Just unlucky, yeah. But this is probably along with the lore, the other reason I can't commit to ARS right now is just like the armies are fun on paper, but they just melt in practice. Even to a loosely constructed Bloodbound army, they just melt because they're just not tough enough and they don't hit hard enough to make it count. at all. Like the cavalry doesn't hit hard enough. The monsters hit probably just about hard enough. The infantry is basically pointless because they don't have multiple damage. They very rarely got rend, and it's not a good spot right now. Anyway, not different thing, different day. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit one-sided, but you get those sometimes, them the breaks. Thank you for watching. My name is Michael for Tactica Imperialis with Kieran, and we will see you all again. Goodbye.
Ta-ra.